Are there legal restrictions on advertising your product as a direct competitor to another product? Again, beautiful question. I love it, love it, love it. So what she's talking about here is, let's just say that you are Pepsi and you have said, Pepsi is better than Coke. Is that okay? Can you say that? Or can you say, don't drink Monster, drink Mountain Dew Energy? That's something that some brands would like to do, but maybe they're afraid to do. That's something that some brands would not want to do. They just don't want to mention or make you think of their competitors. But the question is it legally okay? And so I had to do a little research and I found a really great answer on the Federal Trade Commission's policies. And so I don't normally like to quote laws in these AMA videos, but the FTC is an important governmental organization. They do govern how businesses compete with each other. Their policies are generally pretty easy to read. I just had to put a couple little, swap out some words in there. But it says that the policy of the FTC encourages referring to competitors, in other words, mentioning competitors, but it does require clarity and, if necessary, disclosure. And then here's the really important part, to avoid deception of the consumer. And you'll see that the FTC cares about that a lot. They have that as one of the key focuses in a lot of their policies, and we've talked about some of them. But continuing, additionally, the use of truthful comparative advertising should not be restrained. And so the FTC says it is good for you to compare your products to others. And Mr. Nuzum, Matt Nuzum, the attorney, I think you should also be able to compare your products and services to others. You remember I've said it 100 times. I want your products to be different. It should be very easy for people to look at your brand and say, oh yeah, that's not like this other company who does the same thing. A young guy came into my office today and said, I'm going to create a copy of this other company. And I thought, why would you do that? Why wouldn't people just use that other company? He says, well, we're going to be able to, to do it just as good. I'm like, well, you can't be just as good. You need to be different in some other way. I'll get off my soapbox now, but trust me, I'm getting back on there again. You need to be different. And so using other brands boldly, I think, is fine. Just remember, the FTC cares about not confusing or deceiving consumers. As soon as you start to get confusing, then the FTC is going to start caring. We saw this in reviews, product reviews. There was a video I did before I was doing AMAs where I said, the FTC is cracking down on consumer reviews with Amazon and some of these other companies. People were doing tricky things, and it was confusing consumers. They were being deceived. The FTC is going to put a halt to that fast. And believe it or not, the FTC is one branch of the federal government that does move pretty quickly. So, short version, please, yes, do compare your products to others. Just do it truthfully. Do it in a non-confusing way. And so the goal here is for consumers to be able to say, oh, I want to choose brand X because it does this differently than brand Y. It is okay if you say better. But if you say it's 10% better, then now if you're crossing into a line where you could be being deceptive. You could be saying something untruthful. So if there is a quantifiable, a numerical, a percentage better or different, then make sure that you can back that up with actual